Welcome back to Sports Around the Bar, guys. We're going to get into this episode about what we learned in Week 3 of the NFL.
A lot of things changing for the better, for the worse for some teams. We're going to talk about where we see these trends going for the rest of the season and what this week taught us specifically about the NFL for all of 2025.
I think I learned a lot more this week. Can't wait to get into it. And what I've definitely learned is that some of these powerhouses are separating themselves from the rest of the crowd, man.
No love for the Ravens and Chiefs?
Dude.
They have a matchup this week, too.
They're not going to be playing for the number 1 seed. I know that.
It's too early for that, at least. I mean, you win this game, you're 2-2.
So,
you're back in the race.
I mean, I know the Colts are there at 3-0. Maybe they'll flub a game or two, but they don't look like they're slowing down. The Bills, are they slowing down? Are they going to give up 2 wins?
A little bit. See, that's where
already beat the Ravens.
Yeah, but then they barely beat the Dolphins. I mean, the Dolphins won that game all the way
through. It's a divisional
barely
game.
Is not the right word. Barely
it's a divisional game. They usually play them a little bit tighter. No, it wasn't close, dude. The Bills had that game in hand.
Sure, whatever you say. I don't know. There was that scare towards the end, and you're like, are we going to see a little bit of like that yellow laundry out there pulling the Dolphins back into it? Never really got that close, but I think that's a scare tactic. I actually kind of disagree a little bit. I don't think the powerhouses have separated themselves. Indy looks good, but like
maybe the AFC.
Question yourself.
Maybe the AFC powerhouses.
Well, you kind of question like, will that be the case in Week 17? Or we're still going to be talking about Indy as that team that's better than what we thought they were going to be. I just don't know that I'm that convinced. I think, the Ravens have had running troubles where Derrick Henry's had a couple costly fumbles. I think they've struggled against the Browns in that game where it's like, okay, are they going to be a team that can't run the ball in Week 15? Probably not, so I'd argue that. I think the Chiefs are another one of those ones where it's like, okay, they're struggling to throw the ball right now, but when they get Rice and hopefully Worthy comes back healthy, are they still going to be in that spot? Probably not. I think this is a weird start to a weird year where a lot of these best teams are looking around like, this didn't start the way it was supposed to. Let me check the script.
No, I really do think that some of these powerhouses, and maybe the record doesn't say it, but I'm telling you about the play on the field is you definitely got like the Buffalo Bills, you got the Indianapolis Colts, you got the Philadelphia Eagles that definitely seem to be very well. Their record shows it being 3-0. Then you got the 49ers. There's like,
that is like the exact opposite of a powerhouse.
That's what I'm saying.
They're winning.
But they're winning with backups. Can you imagine when all they come back healthy? That could be a difference.
Is it though? Okay. Pause, because what I learned from Week 3 is it still doesn't matter who the quarterback is in San Francisco. Kyle Shanahan's going to find a way to like get these wins. With
There's a reason why Brock Purdy. There's a reason why Brock Purdy is a starter, and the reason they paid him more money is because he's not Mac Jones.
It's because they got Mac Jones had 300 yards passing in Week 2. I know he didn't this week. I know the Cardinals played him a little bit tighter, sure, and you could say like maybe it was a fluke.
If we did the rankings of quarterbacks and we had Mac Jones and Brock Purdy, you're going to tell me you're going to put them together? No. Stop.
Like, one might be 15, the other might be 23 with this Shanahan offense.
Stop.
I mean, this is from a guy that has kind of made some excuses for Mac Jones in the past, where, like, he had that great start with the Patriots week 1, or year 1, where they won, like, what were they, like 10-2 at one point or something like that, and kind of fell apart there. But you look at the roster. I say this about Daniel Jones all the time. We're talking about Indy being back with Daniel Jones. They had nothing around him. What did Mac Jones have going for him?
Everything. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Nothing.
Exactly. What does he had in Jacksonville last year? Bad offensive line. Like, yeah, I guess they had Brian Thomas, but even he has been kind of iffy at best, even through 3 weeks where they're like, oh, some of those Trevor Lawrence interceptions are because you stopped running your route and you didn't want to take that hospital ball to the face.
Yeah, but the 49ers have a better defense than both of those teams.
They do.
And I know.
And they have better weapons and a better coach and better everything, and now we're starting to see Mac Jones start to raise his game a little bit, right?
Yeah.
This will be a big week for that, if nothing else, where if he struggles again, maybe I'm with you where I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe you paid the right guy. But if Mac Jones goes back to throwing 300 yards or 250, it's like we paid Brock Purdy $52 million to do the exact same thing.
There's a difference in play. I know that all 49er fans are like, dude, Jake's just a hater of Brock Purdy. I agree with you statistically that there might be comparisons, but on play, watching that field, watching that leader, Brock Purdy's a better leader, a better quarterback in the NFL than Mac Jones probably will ever be. So there is a difference there. One team I do want to talk about that the record doesn't show like the 3-0, they're 2-1, and that's the Detroit Lions. I think it's outside of that flop of Week 1 against the Packers, which when I say flop, they played them pretty well. It's just the Packers had
I don't think
so
the offense
much
got off the
hype.
bus.
Right.
And the Packers came in there like this was the Super Bowl. Like, hey, these guys embarrassed us last year by winning our division. They came in so much more ready to play than I think the Lions did, where the Lions kind of had a little bit of that comfort level of like, oh, we're a good team. We'll be all right. And then it wasn't.
When you talk about this team, Detroit Lions,
Mm-hmm.
if everyone can stay healthy,
Yeah.
this is a scary team all year long.
Yeah, and I know the Ravens hung with them in week 3, but what this week kind of taught me was the Lions are just a better team. I mean, if you look at that second half, the way they stifled the run, the way they were stripping the ball from Derrick Henry, to the offense feeling like it was unstoppable, them going for it on that 4th and 2, and Amon-Ra having, I don't want to call it an easy first down catch, but Jared Goff dropping it right into the basket and getting the job done on 4th and 2 when they could have just punted and played defense. They're like, we don't need to.
Sam Laporta looking like he's always open
Mm-hmm.
on 3rd down and whatever yardage it is. You have a guy like that can move the chains. Not as explosive, but kind of reminds me of that Travis Kelce, a few years back.
Sure.
Where it's like it didn't matter if it was 3rd and 8, 3rd and 6. The Chiefs are getting a first down because Kelce's open. Sam Laporta seems to be like that kind of guy right now. This is a team that's scary. And I think even though they have one loss, this is a team, not saying it's going to happen, that could be 16-1 at the end of the year.
Can we talk about the Rams the same way? Because
Yeah, I think we
this
should.
week has kind of taught us the same thing where, they let that lead get away from them. They let Philadelphia come in there, but the fact that they were able to get up, 27-7? Where
something like that,
they jumped way out in front of the Eagles.
I think it was 22-7, but
I think they showed that, hey, even though we're not thought about as one of these super teams, we're kind of on the ascendant where if we have another good year or two in the draft, we might be the best team in football. I mean, the defensive line looks incredibly stout. Matt Stafford is still chugging along. Second fastest quarterback to 60,000 yards that he hit a couple weeks ago.
26-7, just to let you know.
26-7. Okay, my mistake. 27. That would.
No, I
should have won that one.
No, I just wanted to make it right.
100%. That's why we have an editor, dude. Let him do his job. No. I think the Rams have showed that they are a team that can beat just about anybody. The fact that they were able to jump out on the Eagles, you wanted to see them close that thing out with a win, but the fact that they got there in the first place tells you that this is a team you don't want to see in the playoffs. This is one of those ones that you're hoping something, derails them on their path, because if you have to go to LA to play this team, they can beat almost anybody if they can do this to the Eagles.
Yeah, they just got to stay healthy. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're as depth as like the Eagles are, where some losses because the Eagles are banged up right now and they're still playing really well. They're doing okay. I don't think the Rams are like that, but we'll see. I do like that comparison. I do think, I know you said you don't see it, but I do think some of these powerhouses are starting to pull away and they're playing a lot better.
Sure.
What else did we learn?
Did we learn the Colts are the real deal? We have to talk about them. They're like the talk of the league right now. Nobody had the Colts as this powerhouse team, but Daniel Jones, I've been saying it for years, Drew. You have to give a guy a chance before you can even evaluate him as a quarterback. And what the Giants did not do was give Daniel Jones any kind of chance with how bad those offensive lines were, with how bad the receivers were for most of the time. He had Saquon. Can't say that about running back. But you see him jump to Indy, who is, a good offensive line. Maybe not the best in football, but a good offensive line. They've got some good weapons. I like Michael Pittman.
Just because
Josh Downs and Alec Pierce are like decent role players.
Just because we looked it up, by the way, Saquon was only healthy for a full season twice while he did his tenure in the Giants.
Would he still be wearing Giants blue if Saquon was healthy all the way through, do you think?
I mean, it's a possibility. Small. But it's a possibility. I mean, that's
give me the affirmative, Drew.
Well, no, that's something you got to bring up because we looked this up earlier because we were talking about Saquon before we started the show.
Right.
And we were like, did Saquon even stay healthy for more than 1 year? And it was 2 years out of his tenure there, which I think was like, 7 years at?
6, 7? Yeah.
It's something like that. So that's not good. I think 1 year he only played like 4 games.
Yeah.
So you could say Daniel Jones had Saquon, but did he have Saquon? Did he?
Not as much as I'm sure he would have liked. But even still, Saquon running behind like one of the worst offensive lines in football.
And I don't know this for sure, but I wonder if those years that Daniel Jones looked good was a year that Saquon ran or was on the field for 16 games too.
Yeah. And you look at him now with Indianapolis. Again, Michael Pittman's a good receiver. I don't think anyone's picking Michael Pittman to be a top 10 receiver. Maybe you say like top 20, but top 10 seems a little far off. Yeah. Josh Downs, again, role player. Alec Pierce, role player.
Can we talk about Tyler Warren?
Tyler Warren does look good. Okay. I mean, yeah.
Can we talk about how good he might be?
And I've been saying it all preseason, too. I saw that first preseason game in Indianapolis, and I was like, yeah, Warren's that guy.
That explosion after the catch is deadly as a tight end.
And we watched him in college, too. We were like, it's there, but you never really know until you start seeing the guy in the pros. And usually the preseason, you're like, maybe this is fool's gold. We talk about that sometimes. A guy will light up like Zach Wilson. He'll light up the preseason.
You love bringing that up, don't you?
It's the best example of like, wow, what an amazing preseason.
I feel like
Peyton Manning
I feel like it's an attack on me because I'm the one that was like, dude, Zach Wilson might be the real deal.
I was saying it too, where you're like, wow. And they told us also Jamar Chase, he was like having drops in his first preseason.
He's too small of hands.
Yeah, they're like, he's not ready for the pros. He's not used to the new football.
He might never be ready for the pros because you can't fix hand size.
You can't fix Joe Burrow either, apparently, because he keeps getting hurt. But we learned that about the Bengals. But let's talk about that in a minute. The Colts, let's round it out, Drew. Are they a contender?
Yeah, and we'll talk about this in our next episode when we go through every game in Week 4. But I think it's very important for people to realize that, yes, they're 3-0, and yes, they played some good teams, individual rivals. They're about to play the Rams in Week 4. I think that this is going to be a most important game for them because now they're playing a team outside their division, a playoff team last year. If they could beat this team soundly, then I think everyone's got to put respect on the Colts.
Could this be a sleeper Super Bowl pick? Well, the Rams are playing better than we thought they would be. We thought the Rams were going to be good. We didn't think they'd be this good, but we thought the Rams would be good. The Colts obviously playing way above expectations. Could this be one of those picks where we're like scratching our heads and we're like, never saw this one coming, but here we go.
What a Super Bowl would it be if the Indianapolis Colts and the Los Angeles Rams played this year?
You know I love my parody, and I would love to see those types of things. Will it happen?
I'll tell you this.
If the Colts keep playing like this, it could.
I'll tell you this. Watching both of these teams, my percentage of who's going to reach the Super Bowl out of these two, the Colts are higher than the Rams.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, I disagree with that because, like, you have the Ravens who are going to get back on track. The Chiefs are going to get back on track. Buffalo's looking good. Like, I just think the AFC has these teams where you're like, how are they going to get past these guys?
What if they're number one seed?
Well, you still have to play 2 or 3 of them is the problem.
Well,
that's why.
I'm just saying, what if? Well,
it would help them immensely, and that's what I think it would take. Is to your point, that's what it would take if they were going to get there. But, like, can you imagine having to go, like, Chiefs-Ravens or Chiefs-Bills back-to-back in whatever order, Bills-Chiefs? Even if you get the home field advantage.
Chargers-Ravens, Chargers-Bills.
It's just like, you got to be perfect. We got
to put respect on Chargers, too.
We do. We definitely do. And maybe we're wrong for not including them in that group, but I just think the AFC has so many of these teams where you're like, they'll be there still, right? Like the Chiefs, the Ravens, the Bills.
Yeah.
Whereas the NFC, it's kind of like the Eagles and...
I know everyone's going to be like, you guys are a bunch of homers because you have all this Chiefs memorabilia in front of you. You think they got to turn around, right?
As a neutral party, because I don't like the Chiefs. I mean, you may not know this if you're new. I don't like the Chiefs. Yeah, I think they're 100%, and I'm still like, they're going to be back, right? Like, they're going to be fine, right?
Right?
Right? So, I mean, what would it take for you to be like, if they're 1-5, I'd be like, okay, maybe it's not their year. But
if a time machine is going to be invented in the next 3 months, can I please come back and let me know what's going to happen?
It's going to help some of those
right now.
Help some of those Super Bowl bets, right?
Okay, it's not going to be invented, so I have no idea. But I would believe that that's going to happen.
I think most people would, too. I think if you ask the average fan, they'd be like, the Chiefs will bounce back. The Ravens will be fine. I think it's going to be the same group of guys that it's been just because they have the quarterbacks, they have the coaches, they have most of what is like the steady thing in the NFL. You might see some defensive instability. You might see some instability at other positions like offensive line and wide receiver. But if you got the quarterback and you got the coach, most of the time, you're probably going to be there at the end, right?
You would think.
You would think
that would be the case.
You never know.
What else did we learn, man? We got to get something else besides these powerhouses.
Did we learn anything about the Steelers playing against the Patriots? Was I wrong about Aaron Rodgers in that first week, Drew? Because I was taking a victory lap. I said before the season started, like Aaron Rodgers, I fought for him. Like
you were waving the checkered flag. This debate's over. I won it.
I was the last guy saying Rodgers is still a good quarterback.
Which is so odd because it's usually reversed.
I tend to be the pessimistic guy, but I will say this: is this just the case? Them beating the Patriots 21-14. Is this a case of a stingy defense with Mike Vrabel holding them down, but they still got the job done, or is this a case of them not having the firepower they need to legitimately be contenders? Because we weren't talking about the Steelers in that group in the AFC. Right? We were talking about the Ravens turning it around. We were talking about the Chiefs turning it around. They have a better record than both of those teams, but we didn't mention them there.
Yeah, no, we didn't.
I guess to say all that, the real question is: are you in now on Rodgers, or are you still out?
it's not Rodgers. It's this offense that the Steelers have.
Arthur Smith.
This is not an exciting offense to watch. I know they did really good week 1, but it's been a dud ever since.
Yeah.
And you want more out of it because this is a reason you went and got this veteran. This is the reason why you went out and got, was it a 3-time MVP of the league? If it's not, it's 4. I can't remember exactly. This is why you went out and get him. You want this offense to change. You're tired of these dud offenses. You tried Russell Wilson and Justin Fields the year before, and before that it was like Mason Rudolph or somebody. It was
Kenny Pickett, but it turned into Mason Rudolph, yeah.
sure, whatever.
But they spent a first-round pick on him, dude.
Okay.
It had nothing to do with the fact he went to Pitt.
There's never been a first-round pick that's never made it, right?
And especially in the 20s. And it had nothing to do with the fact that he went to Pitt either. You don't think that the Roonies had any kind of say in that?
Any kind of love towards that?
Yeah, went to Pitt to college.
So
now he's going to be Pittsburgh's quarterback.
my concern isn't just Russell Wilson.
I like Kenny Pickett, by the way. I still think Kenny Pickett's one of those guys that's like, get him the Darnold treatment. Get him a good team. You never know.
Maybe. This isn't just my worries about Aaron Rodgers. I think if he can stay healthy, this is a savvy veteran that knows how to play NFL football. This is a guy that can get out there and win you some of those last-minute drives and get you there. But you need to see the run game. You need to see Gainwell and Warren be able to do more. You need to see Metcalf be more involved in the offense than what it is. And if it's, dude, get the ball to the playmakers, and it's not really happening. Mm-hmm. Statistically, it's not happening, and I know you want more out of it. You should be beaten. If this team is real, it shouldn't be 21-14 against the Patriots. It should have been like 28-2, or not 12. I don't know. It should have been all field goals. Right. This is a great defense. Like, it should be a different score than 21-14.
I think the defense has let them down a little bit. They're starting to get a little bit back on track. 14 to the Patriots is whatever. I would love to see this be 9 to the Patriots. Exactly. Yeah. I would like to see this be 9 to the Patriots for 12, a team that should have the best
4 field goals. I'd be all right with that.
Or second or third. I think the Steelers are still working their way through it, but I'll give them this. We just said we love Vrabel's defense, and we love the way Vrabel kind of like gets his teams up for these games. We just in our other episode, you said you love the Seattle's defense and the way they're playing, the Seahawks, and I do too. I agree. Yeah. Could it just be a case of the scheduling where they're playing tough defenses, and even the Jets? You look at the strength of the Jets, you'd probably say it's the defense, right?
Sure.
And Garrett Wilson, but you'd say the Jets and Garrett Wilson. And Breece Hall. I like Breece Hall, but their line is kind of bad.
I do like Breece Hall.
It's hard to run behind a bad offensive line. Ask Saquon. Anyway, moral of the story, Steelers. In, out. Did we learn anything? Are we still kind of on the fence?
I'm on the fence.
See more?
I'm on the fence. Yeah? If this was...
I'm still in, but it's fading. My hope is fading a little bit, but I'm still like just over there. But you're like holding your hand out. I'm like, yeah, I might be on the fence here in a minute too. Like week 4 is a big one.
You're drowning. Do you want me to help you? Not yet? All right. Let me know.
I still believe in Rodgers, man.
I don't think it's that bad. It's not Rodgers. It really isn't Rodgers.
It's a little Rodgers.
How?
Like you said, 21 points to a team
Russell
like
Wilson was here last year, and there was nothing there.
And they were saying they should have started Fields. If you
Fields was there,
I know. And then like Fields played the first 6 games while Wilson was out.
5,
and then when Wilson came in and they were kind of floundering, they were like, maybe we should play Justin Fields again.
Like, no, we can't.
The fans were saying that.
Trust the guy. New York Giants seem to got their head on their shoulders. Daxton Dart is going to be able to start in Week 14. Russell Wilson is benched. How important is this? The Giants.
We learned that the Giants think that the Chiefs are a game that they should have won. The fact they're benching Russell Wilson after. Okay, let's talk about this timeline.
Oh, my heart.
I know. What is this like?
My heart.
This is something you haven't experienced in a while. But let's talk about this timeline. You go from throwing 451 yards as a quarterback in Week 2 to. We were there in the first half against the Chiefs, but we wound up losing this one, 22-9. And then I'm benched? Wait, what? I know you have a first-round quarterback. I know you have a young quarterback and the guy who you're expecting to be the future of this team with Jackson Dart. But it's not like Russell Wilson struggled for 3 weeks. 451 yards. They lost that game on an Aubrey, Hail Mary 78-yard field goal in overtime. It gets longer every time.
It gets actually shorter. You called it 92 or something like that. I don't know, man.
Are they being unfair to Russell Wilson?
No.
I think so. I think they are.
No, because I think you're going to put Jameis Winston in there, and then we might be talking about a different kind of team.
No.
Yes.
No. Yeah, they're losing these games. The Chiefs have been it's 45-9 because Jameis Winston threw us 3 interceptions.
No, man, it would have been 45-48.
Oh, okay, but they'd still lose.
They'd still lose. Though.
Okay, just checking.
He would have thrown 3 picks, but he would have thrown 3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns too.
And I don't know why I did 48. I just trying to pick a number.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, Drew. I don't like this. I really don't. I think this is one of those situations where the organization just doesn't know what they're doing.
No,
they don't have a plan.
This is what you got to do to save the head coach Dable's job. You got to bring in the guy that you believed in, and that's the reason why you drafted him. You hope this bounces that offense up. You lost Tracy. Tracy might be out for the season.
Yeah,
I mean,
they got Scatterboo though.
They do got Scatterboo, and everyone's excited about him. I saw all the videos.
He runs so hard, dude. He's just fun to watch. He's gonna be hurt 3 weeks from now, but
that's the whole thing. Is everyone's like, look at these videos of him hitting hard, and it's like, oh, but how long does that last?
Yeah, as a coach, you're like, oh God, no, please.
And honestly, Tracy was playing really well until he got hurt against the Chiefs. So This is what you got. This is what you have to do to fix your offensive woes.
Let me stand up for your guy here. Because Russell Wilson was your guy,
right? Like 6 years ago.
Let me stand up for your guy really quick. He put up 37 points in week 2, and you're benching him after week 3.
Against a really crappy Dallas defense.
But they're crappy because they put up 37 points on him and 451 yards. I mean,
you are the number one guy that says stats don't matter.
Especially this early, I agree. Your stats should... You got to take it with a grain of salt. But, again, Drew, 450 freaking yards, man. I almost lost it there. 400 yards, 450 yards, and I know they lost that game. I know they lost it, and they had to give the Cowboys 3 possessions to do it. But I think it's a situation where I find myself asking why. Even if you like Jackson Dart, and I think they do with the way he played in the preseason. I think they should. Let him learn behind this guy. Like you said, this is probably like just, let's say, Dable's job, but if you're a decent owner, you'd be saying, okay, well, we have Dart.
I'm going to be honest with you, dude. I don't believe that. I don't believe there's anything to learn behind Russell Wilson.
Nothing. There's no value in it. Then why did you sign him in the first place? Why is this not Jackson Dart from week 1? I said it about the Titans
Well, that's
before.
because you don't know what you have in Jackson Dart, and you got to have somebody.
You signed Jameis Winston. If you need a punching bag, there it is.
But Russell Wilson's a punching bag, too.
But they signed Wilson first. Why do you need 2?
If there was a slimmer of hope that Russell Wilson could teach another quarterback how to play football in the NFL, you would see the Seattle Seahawks not have to go out and sign Sam Darnold. You would go out and see the Denver Broncos not having to draft someone like Bo Nix because you had the guy right now teaching the guy of the future. Russell Wilson is not a quarterback, in my opinion, that is teaching the guy behind him how to play better.
It's like Tannehill, where he's like, I'm not teaching the guy behind me how to take my job. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, he just does. If he says it, I haven't heard it. But
Tannehill said it.
I'm talking.
Russell Wilson might be a little bit like he's keeping it close to the chest a little bit more, but like, yeah.
Russell Wilson thinks he's a starter in the NFL.
I do too. I think he's a low-end starter, but I think he's a starter. I don't think there's 32 better guys than
Sure, if he was on the Raiders, I'd be like, he should be starting over like Geno Smith.
And maybe you could say you go back to week 1.
Or the Browns, he should start over like Joe Flacco. Maybe Miami, he should be starting over Tua.
You could go back to week 1.
Saints, he should be starting over Rattler.
You could go back to week 1. I know, the list goes on. But you could go back to week 1 and say, well, the Giants scored 6 points against the Commanders. But the Commanders went to the NFC Championship last year. They scored 9 points against the Chiefs. The Chiefs went to the AFC Championship and the Super Bowl last year, right? So you could argue that, yeah, he struggled against 2 of teams that have been
on the better
end of things.
I'll tell you the problem, man. They're 0-3.
Sure.
It doesn't matter who they went against. It doesn't matter what his statistics
It doesn't matter
are.
that you gave up 40 points?
No, it doesn't. Anyway? Yes, because the offense needs a bounce. And if you can't bounce properly, then you're going to get changed.
I think 3 weeks is bad process. I think 6 weeks, sure. If you're 1-5, 2-4, okay.
This is so weird because I usually defend the fact that not that you don't, but I usually defend the rookie should sit behind a veteran for a while. I just think you got the wrong veteran. That's what I think it is. Russell Wilson is like that guy who's like, no, this is my job.
Yeah.
I'm winning this game. This is me. And as much as I like Russell Wilson 6 years ago, that guy doesn't exist no more.
I hate the process. Again, if this was 3 games of 9 points, sure.
But you got Andrew Thomas back. He played his first game back in like 3 years, it feels like.
They benched him in the game. Like maybe he was
it's not. It's snap count. It was snap count. It wasn't a benching. He was actually playing really well.
I'm just saying, like, he wasn't there for the whole game, so you can't.
He was benched because of a snap count, not because of performance.
No, I know, but I'm saying the point is, like, he's not there the whole time.
You have a
So
young.
you can't say that, like, oh, this is Russell
You got
Wilson's fault, he's
Scatterboo.
out.
You got Scatterboo. You have Neighbors. Like, this is a team that has a lot of young guys. Let's get Jackson Dart in there. Let's start getting him chemistry and how to win this game. You are not winning a Super Bowl this year with Russell Wilson.
No, I don't think so either. But what's the harm in letting Jackson Dart sit behind him and learn
Today's
a little bit more?
NFL doesn't exist like that no more.
It works for Mahomes. Shouldn't everybody be trying to emulate that same thing? Where
And
they
I guess
had-
a lot of people would say it worked for Jordan Love.
You could say Hurts, where they didn't trot him out. They weren't 100% married to Hurts. I mean, Jordan Love is another great example of that. If you were a disaster and you scored 6 points every week, you could say, well, we got to sell some tickets, right? We got to get the fans in the stands. We got to show them that we're trying to win these games. Let's switch our quarterback. You put up 37 points and 451 yards. This is too early. This is reactionary, Drew. This is a knee-jerk reaction.
You're too stuck on those stats against a terrible defense.
But they're terrible because of that, because it's been 3 weeks.
No, but okay. If
They
it was,
did let the Bears beat 'em up.
if it was 450 yards against Dallas and like 350 yards against the Chiefs, I'd be like, okay.
But the Chiefs
we're
aren't a bad defense.
overreacting.
The Chiefs are probably like 10th or 11th in defense right now.
We're
Washington's a good
overreacting getting that
defense.
started, but it wasn't. Dude, Russell Wilson looked terrible.
My only point is if you're making a change in week 3, you had bad
Week
process
4.
coming into the season. Okay, if you're making a change after 3 weeks, you had bad process coming into the season. If Jackson Dart was that inspirational after the preseason, he should have been starting week 1, and you should have just bit the bullet then.
Oh, I
The
agree.
fact that you put Russell Wilson in there, you owe it to him and to everybody else to say we're going more than 3 weeks, especially when not all of those 3 weeks
There
were
has to be
disaster.
something going on with Russell Wilson behind the scenes where it just seems like hey, this is the guy you want because we talked about it last year where Justin Fields probably should have been starting over Russell Wilson and they benched Fields to bring in Wilson, which made absolutely no sense at all. And maybe that's what it is. Maybe Russell behind the scenes and in the meeting room, it's like this is your guy, right? He's a Super Bowl winning quarterback.
Should be.
And no, he is.
No, I'm saying he should be your guy.
Yeah, no, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of talks was the best quarterback in the NFL like 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Yep.
And he was the best quarterback.
There were times he should have been winning the MVP. I think the first one Lamar won should have been Russell Wilson's. It's
Yes.
just Lamar was the new and hot
But
thing,
then there's
and that's what
realistic
we
talk,
wanted.
and it goes, sometimes you just lose it.
Yeah. I agree. I agree.
And I think
With
he's
that.
lost it.
I don't agree with that, but I think you hit the nail on the head when you said this is about saving Dable's job.
It
Period.
is.
That is I think the most true statement out of any of this. They're like, we're 1-2. We got to show something off. Let's do whatever it takes. Let's throw that cow patty against the wall and see how much sticks. I think that's
Yeah.
what this is. And that's not what good organizations do. So I don't love this. I don't love it. Did we learn the Saints are going to get the first pick in the draft? Did we learn that? Kind of.
Yeah.
21-0 with 4 minutes to go in the first quarter.
If this was any other organization in the NFL right now, the Saints would be like, all right, it's time to bring in your young quarterback.
Your young quarterback's in there.
That's the problem.
Rattler's like,
That's
this
what I'm
is his third
saying.
Year, and you have Tyler Slow or Shuck, I should say. I
Shuck.
always mess it up.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, this is such a weird time for the Saints organization because there is no one else behind them. Yeah, you can bring
Yeah.
in Chuck. It's not going to change anything. It's so weird for them not to have a veteran going into this year where they're like, okay, we're struggling. It's time to bring in the young guy. Hold on. We have the young guy out there.
This is the young guy. You have another
So-
younger guy.
The answer is yes. This is the Saints' pick to lose.
Yeah.
But we've talked about this too. And I'm not trying to get into college ball too much because it's not the episode, but this quarterback class, like you said, doesn't seem to be what
floundered.
they thought it would be.
Yep, they floundered. They haven't been superstars in the fact that, we're going to be 5 deep, you got nothing to worry about. So I think that almost makes it more important that the Saints wind up with the first or the second pick so that you can go get your guy. I mean, if the Titans beat you out, they already have Cam Ward. He's looking okay. They're not drafting another quarterback. I think after 3 weeks, he's locked in. He'll be back next year. You're not
will.
going to have a Drew Rosen scenario where
That
the
offensive
Titans do it.
lineman's going to be gone, though.
Sure, but if I'm the Saints, I don't care because I may need offensive linemen, but you know what else I need? Somebody to throw
everything
the ball.
else?
Yeah, that too. Yeah, I'm with you. This is their pick to lose. I think this solidified it. Maybe we knew it before this. Maybe we knew it going into the season. But this is just another kind of reinforcement of that where it's like, if you're the Saints, I know it's tough to take that 44-13 beating, but you almost kind of want to so that you can say, this isn't our year. Let's go retune.
Yeah.
Let's go get our guy first in the draft, because you don't want to be in a situation where you don't have that pick and you have to give up the future to go get him.
The only reason that you wouldn't take a quarterback in this next year's draft as a Saint organization is there just wasn't that guy there, because you not only do you need a quarterback, you need a lot more.
If it's like this year. Yeah.
I've talked about this a lot with the defense of that Saints. There's a lot of older players there that are going to have to be replaced. Cam Jordan's getting older. I know you lost Tyrone Matthew to retirement. I know you brought in Justin Reed, but he's not going to be there forever. LaShawn Lattimore is gone already. They traded him off. Like, this team is aging. They're losing some of their players on that defense. It's changing in the Saints organization, and Rattler's not it. That's just the best way to put it.
Yeah, this is the valley where it's like we need to change everything, right? We need to wash out an old team. We need to bring in just about every position. You have Olave and even Kamara. Like, Kamara's great right now. He's doing pretty well, but you know that it's not going to last too much longer when you have a 32-year-old running back, right?
It's really not. Yeah.
So this is the bottom point for the Saints, and you just need to make sure you wind up with that first pick so that you don't have to give the future up. Because can you imagine a scenario where there's one quarterback like last year that you have to go get, and maybe it's the Titans with the first pick, and you have to trade them and give up your future to go out and get that guy who's going to turn you around. It's a scenario where that can almost like ruin your chances to turn things around, because you'll need those picks to fix the rest of the roster.
Yeah. Man, is there anything else that you learned at the end of week 3?
I want to talk about Chicago because, Drew, we were too mean to begin with. We said, or I said, I think you jumped on the bandwagon too, but I said that I thought the Bears needed to do more than just the scheduled plays with Ben Johnson. We kind of saw that this week.
I don't think that's mean.
That is mean, but it might be just because of the defenses they played. When you talk about them playing the Vikings and the Lions, those are some really, really good defenses when we're watching it, Drew. That's all I'm saying.
It also might just be the truth.
Well, the thing is, like, they might be playing 2 top 5 defenses. And for a young quarterback and a first-time head coach, for us to have jumped on the bandwagon of, like, hey, it needs to be better and you need to do more than just script these plays. We need to see you make adjustments live in the game. Maybe that was just 2 really tough matchups, and the Bears aren't quite there yet as a roster. Yes, no, maybe so?
Sure. I mean, I think their roster is definitely a lot better, and that's kind of why it's like performance should be up, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
offensively, at least. The defense is weirdly the part that
they're a little banged up,
but playing amazing. I mean,
they're down like a linebacker and a corner this week.
Yeah.
And I'm blanking on the names.
Jalen Johnson.
And then Edwards.
Yeah.
Were both out. So that could say something about it. But their offense, I mean, they got everyone there. I'll tell you this. I don't know if it's just me being harsh. It's me being my expectations to be a lot higher.
Sure.
Like, I'm expecting more out of Caleb Williams. Even though Caleb Williams looks good at times, actually, let me rephrase that, incredible at times. His pocket awareness is top. Like, him getting out of there and getting scrambled is crazy. But then when he's on the road or he's on the move, it's like it stops. You know, he's missing open receivers.
It's a hard thing to do. There's a reason up until this era that everyone was like, don't throw it on the run.
Right. But you're seeing like Joe Burrow, you're seeing like Patrick Mahomes and Hurts.
It's just part of the game now.
Where they can move out of the pocket and they're hitting that open receiver in the perfect stride.
Yeah.
Caleb has to set that part of his game up.
I agree. I will say I think we were too hard on the Bears. And maybe this kind of comes back down. Maybe the Dallas Cowboys are that bad because of the 30th ranked defense right now. Maybe it's a Cowboys thing.
They did what they should have done.
I almost think, I'm going to preface this here. This is something we're going to talk about next week of like when we watch the Bears again and we get to see them play. I've already forgotten the matchup. We talked about
Editor, help us right here.
It's the Raiders. When they play the Raiders,
Editor's
which
got it,
won't be a great I beat him, I think. It won't be another great matchup, but I want to see more of the same. When you're playing bad defenses, beat them up. That's what I want to see of the Chicago Bears. And if they're able to do that, maybe we're along the lines of, well, they had 2 tough matchups. It was early. They've kind of got this ball rolling, and we were just too tough on a team that we said needed to do better on offense.
Yeah. When you say it's too tough, I don't think it's too tough. It's, hey, you've done so much to fix your roster and your team. Now you got out and got your head coach. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a first-time head coach, but everyone kind of...
What's the bar? Like, here's the offensive guru. You sign the offensive guru. Show me some offense. And for the first 2 weeks, they didn't really do that.
Yeah, not all game long, at least.
Right. Yeah, they started hot, and then after the scheduled plays were gone, it's like...
How about this?
Sure.
We'll throw one of these, even though this is not part of it.
Okay.
We got to say something nice. And the first thing I want to say nice is I think the future of the Bear organization with this head coach and this quarterback and this roster, is very high, and I think this team can be very scary in a couple of years.
I think this is down to roster management. I think you have your quarterback. I think you have your coach. I think DJ Moore is still a viable weapon, but the question is, like, how long will he be? Speed receivers tend to age like milk, and he is kind of a guy that relies more on his speed than anything else. We like Roma Dunze. He's taking that step forward for sure.
He seems to be really taking that step forward.
But you got to keep this thing going. You need to keep adding to this team. You need the offensive line to keep being buffed up. They're better, but they're not amazing yet. They brought in Joe Thuney, older player. How long is he going to be around? I think the real question for the Bears, more than anything else, is how well do we do recruiting players? Because your window should be open for the Super Bowl. If you do well in that aspect and you're bringing in good offensive linemen, you keep adding to this defense, we could be talking about Bears Super Bowl 2-3 years from now. Maybe even sooner.
I agree with that. I agree with that statement because everything that they're doing right is doing really well. It's the stuff that they're doing bad, like not adjusting properly to the game plan that the other team is doing, and that's a lot. That is a lot.
It is, but it's one of those things where lock it in now.
You watch like people like John Harbaugh or Andy Reid, where they adjust in that second half, and it's like, oh, that's what a good head coach does. Ben Johnson, year one, by the way, so I'm not trying to knock on him, has to learn how to do that properly.
I agree. I will say he played two really tough defenses, right? Minnesota and Detroit. Both of them look like they're at the top of their games right now. Both of them could wind up in the top 5. So maybe we're a little too hard. Maybe I think that's what we learned is maybe the Bears need a little bit more benefit of the doubt. But then these next 2 weeks, they're getting 2 easy ones. So maybe we just need more time before we really have
So maybe we didn't learn.
Yeah, maybe we didn't learn anything. Why did we spend all that time watching football? No, I think the Bears need a little bit more. Before we really know what's going on in Chicago, we need to see a bigger sample size. I think playing the Dallas Cowboys, who seem to be at the bottom of the league, and the Raiders, who are probably going to wind up there, isn't enough to really know. So I want to see over the next few weeks what the Chicago Bears do on offense.
Well, I think that will take care of us on what we learned in Week 3.
I think so too. I think Week 4 is going to be very telling because I think 4 to 5 is where we really start to see the big picture of who is going to be a Super Bowl, or who's going to be a Super Bowl contender, who's going to be a playoff contender, and who's kind of just biding their time for next week, or for next season, I mean.
Outside your big juggernauts, I completely agree with that statement.
Yeah. We have an idea that some of these teams will be good, but we want to see the Chiefs rebound. We want to see the Ravens rebound. We think both of those teams could wind up in it before the season's over. I think that's going to be the one I'm dialed in most this week.
Yeah, you got to pay attention to that game. That's the reason why in our next episode that we'll probably go very hard into that matchup.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that would do us for what we learned in Week 3 in the NFL and Sports Around the Bar. Guys, remember to like, share, comment. It helps us grow. It helps us be able to communicate with you. And, guys, hit us up. Let us know in the comments that if, hey, we learned something else that you didn't bring it up.
We forgot to remind you that the Browns are a Super Bowl team because they beat the Packers 13-10, right?
That they have a number 1 defense in the league.
It's true. Can that continue? I don't know. We'll see. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are too. We'll be back next week to talk all of this and more for all things going on in the NFL. I'm Jake. This is Drew. You had something else to say? Go ahead.
No. I love the
We're out of here.
I love the outro.
We're out of here.
See ya.
We'll see you next time.